Hey people, CzarThwomp here, and welcome to episode 73 of Dual Destinies. Last time, we cross-examined Bonko, and now Simon is stepping up in order to defend Athena. So without further ado, let's go. 7 years, for 7 long years. This case has been on my mind. Not for an instant did I not think of it. I am the one who killed my mentor, and don't think that you can alter that fact now. Your boldness I will take to the stand, and I won't take no for an answer.
Of course, Master Blackwell. Please, go ahead.
7 years ago, I went to the Cosmos Space Center with the intention of killing Dr. Sykes. But when I got to the robotics lab, I found Athena there instead. I would not be swayed from my purpose, so I waited for Dr. Sykes to return. And then I committed the act. How cathartic it was. Now see, right there, that is the description of a first-degree murder. Basically, predetermined, basically, full emotional capacity, and also just a complete emphasis on just how just the crime was done with just no regrets whatsoever, basically. Meanwhile, Edgeworth, first degree!
But little Ponko here witnessed the victim falling. In other words...
Objection!
I don't need any of your other words, old man. I can guess what happened.
Which would be...
She fell means she fell. Merely that. A mother and child fooling around. Perhaps she tripped. Not that it matters. When I entered the lab, there was no trace of Dr. Sykes to be seen. There was no dead body either, of course, meaning she must have left the room.
So the murder occurred after the time period Ponko described her testimony?
You should hardly take stock in the words of a wind-up toy.
Oh, you will not diss my sweet baby girl Ponko! We respect sweet baby girl Ponko in this courtroom! You're going down, Prosecutor Blackwell!
Bring it on, your boldness! Bring it on! Oh! And then the judge just tears off his robes, just revealing that he's jacked. He's like Uncle Iroh during the day of darkness. So basically, just the judge jumps out of the bench and then just starts fighting Simon. And then Kibo just comes in. Robophobia! Robophobia must destroy Blackwell.
Objection!
Then how do you explain the fact that the defendant had the robot move something? Athena was always tinkering with the robots on the operating table to amuse herself. Excuse me. I just ate dinner, sorry about that. And she always had Ponko move the heavy ones for her. That day was no different. Ponko moved a heavy robot for Athena. This is awful. What he's saying seems to make sense, and yet...
Objection!
Prosecutor Blackwell, are you trying, even now, to turn away from the truth? Don't you realize we could bring the dark age of the law to a closing? Oh yes, Edgeworth-sama, we could put the dark age of the law behind us by sending a girl who may have murdered her mother when she was 11 just to the electric chair, or life in prison, or your conjecture that it's first degree.
Objection!
You expect too much from me. I'm just a murderer beyond redemption. Why don't you just let me go so I can settle down into hell? Urgh. Prosecutor Blackwell's execution is tomorrow. If the truth doesn't come out now, it's all over.
Are you saying that the little girl and the robot had nothing to do with the murder?
That's right. So let's hear your verdict. If we don't hurry, I might miss the ferry across the Styx. Don't you dare, Judge. Don't you dare, Judge. Don't forget I have the hostages over here. And Simon, how long are you going to cover for her? Miss Blackwell. Forgive me, Aura. I never wanted you to do anything like this for me. Why, Aura? Why are you doing this? I mean, here I am. I'm just helping out Dr. Sykes' memories. I'm helping Medicine's memories out by just taking the fall for her daughter, and then here you are just unleashing robo-terrorism. But you agreed to this trial. If you have a counter-argument, then present your evidence. That's the rule of the courtroom. Isn't that right, Chief Prosecutor? Blackwell? You selfish! I'm cutting
Well, newsflash, Edgeworth, in case you've forgotten, the only thing that will be cut regarding me will be when the Sisters of Fate cut the string of my life. You asshole! I'll cut your pay post-mortem! Don't think I won't!
Well, to be frank, I don't like this, but it's my duty to make a decision. If no one has a counter-argument, I will announce my verdict.
Is this really happening? Is it really going to end just like it did 7 years ago? I wanted to do it so bad. Even now, I want to fly out of here and go save him. No, I can't tell her. But how can I lie to Athena? If I can't prove Prosecutor Blackwell's innocence in this trial, I don't think Athena will ever forgive me. I can't let this happen. But I just don't have the evidence to counter Prosecutor Blackwell's testimony. Athena! Where are you? Are you feeling okay? I can hear it. I can hear the voice of his heart. He's hiding something. If he really is, I could sure use Athena's help here. Her power might be just the thing to get us through this.
Objection.
Sykes, Dono! No need for you to chime in here. Just accept that you're innocent.
Objection.
These past 7 years, they've been just as hard on me, you know. Athena, I had to shank a guy in the prison yard to prove my dominance. There is a dead body in Dogan's well. I cried myself to sleep, Athena. Unwiped tears. You think these streaks down my face are some cosmetic statement? No. These are scars of sadness that have been born into my jaw. What are you talking about? Do you remember that horrible, horrible trial? Yes, the one in which you failed me. Please, you have to listen to me. He didn't kill her. His heart is screaming that he didn't kill her. Even now, every time I stand in a courtroom, it comes back to haunt me. But only when I'm leading the defense. Not being heard, no matter how hard you try. Feeling so helpless, it's like I'm Apollo. Caught in people's stares, so scared that it feels like your chest is in a vice. I'm terrified of courtrooms. I want to run out of that door even now. And yet you found a way to keep your fears at bay and became a lawyer. Thanks! That's because one day I came to realize that I had to fight. I couldn't give up. I exercised hard and I studied hard. I wanted to become the strongest lawyer I could be. This day has finally come, the day I've been looking forward to with all my heart. This is why I became a lawyer. This is why I studied psychology. It was all to save you from this false conviction.
But Miss Sykes, do you realize what it would mean? You are the accused after all. If you prove Prosecutor Blackwell's innocent, then...
The only thing that matters is the truth. It's my duty to find out what that truth is. Simon, please give me this chance. The chance to shake off this fear that's been with me for 7 years and to face the truth. Athena's being so brave, confronting her past like this. This might really be the last chance to save them both. Prosecutor Blackwell, please testify one more time about the incident 7 years ago. Fine, but your efforts will surely be in vain, for I am not a man who can be cut down easily. Here we go, Simon. Let me hear the voice of your heart. Athena just turns on the moon matrix. Subs are better than dubs, subs are better than dubs, subs are better than dubs. Okay, for this one, Okay, for this one, you just gotta go over here. And then pinpoint happy.
Got it.
This feeling of happiness. Even though the person you were looking for wasn't there, you felt happy. Why is that?
Simple. When I was looking for Athena and hadn't found her yet, I grew worried. So when I saw her in the robotics lab, I was happily relieved. Merely that.
Just now, you said you went to the Space Center to kill Dr. Sykes. But the first thing you did was look for her daughter instead.
I had no intention of harming Athena, so I wanted to confirm that she was safe first. It was just a part of my plan. Nothing contradictory about that.
Gah! The second I find an inconsistency, he cuts it down. Simon knows the principles of analytical psychology. He got a crash course from my mom. There's less noise now, but I don't see any instabilities we can latch onto. I was afraid of that. We'll just have to keep chipping away at him, then, bit by bit. Could you update this testimony, Athena? You got it, boss! Okay, anyways. For this one, you gotta just go over here to the third one, I believe. Nope, it's the fourth one. Yeah, but just back to this one, though. But just Simon posing with his katana, just waiting there at the door with his katana just raised like that, just with his nothing personal pose. Yeah, frankly, just Metis at that point. If she would have seen Simon posing like that with a katana, she would have just been like, kill me now. Because clearly her psychological help was not doing anything for Simon.
Got it.
Not even you can falsify your emotions, Prosecutor Blackwell.
What?
When you said you killed Dr. Sykes in your testimony, you felt sadness. Why would someone who had lain in wait to kill her be sad about her death?
Ugh, such an obvious attack. Yes, I felt sadness, but it wasn't for her. I felt sorrow for Athena and her circumstances.
Gah! He can't be talking about that, can he? I was just a convenient subject for her research. Dr. Sykes was so intent on her research, she forced her daughter to undergo experiments.
My objective was to save Athena from an obsessive scientist who treated her own daughter like a research subject.
What?
I went to the psychology lab first. That's where I would usually find Athena playing. But that day was different. I heard someone crying in the robotics lab next door. Was Athena being subjected to yet another experiment? I thought as I went to see. I was thinking to myself, great. Was Metis trying the air horn experiment again? Was Metis spraying her with the hose? Was Aura trying to run over Athena with a car or honking the horn? Conveniently, Athena had cried herself to sleep, so all I had to do was wait and kill.
So that's why he was relieved when he saw Athena. But is this story really true? I'm not sure about how much to believe. Mr. Wright! How are you doing, Athena? Still hanging in there? I'm a lot stronger than I look, boss. Now, take a look at this. The noise level actually increased. It went up? I'd never seen it do that before. Prosecutor Blackwell's lying somewhere in his testimony. As a matter of fact, he's piling lie on top of lie in an attempt to make his claims sound more believable. He's trying even harder to suppress his true feelings, and that's what's causing the noise. How in the world should I approach this? An evidence-based approach might work if I can find contradiction. Otherwise, I should look for an inconsistency in his emotions.
There are no flaws in my testimony, and his boldness is prepared to give his verdict. Give up on this lost cause and let the law free me of these chains already.
Objection!
I don't think so. Not while I'm around. Now, contradictory testimony or inconsistency emotions. Which should I tackle first? Anyways, you gotta do the emotions first. Okay, let's look for inconsistent emotions. Got it, boss! But if you want to try looking for a contradictory statement instead, just let me know. I can easily switch over. You just have flash to Simon. Okay, basically, gotta pinpoint this.
Got it.
How odd. Why would you register surprise at opening the door to the lab?
Tisk. Tisk. Alright, fine. I'll explain if I must. What surprised me was Ponko, that toy figure, attacked me. Dr. Sykes knew full well of my plan to rescue Athena, but she couldn't stand guard over her daughter 24 hours a day.
So Dr. Sykes had Ponko do it.
That's right. She ordered Ponko to forcibly remove me on sight. So I slashed Ponko up with the katana that was there in the lab. Humph. That rickety old puppet wasn't worthy of that fine blade.
Mr. Wright, it's happening again. There's even more noise now. Just Simon trolling the mood matrix. It's at 100% now. What's going on here? Whenever we find an opening, he covers it with lies. We'll never get rid of that noise at this rate. It's pretty hard to keep telling coherent lies like that. His mind and will really are as sharp and strong as a katana. Alright, what should I tackle first? Okay, anyways. Let's save the game. And testimony. Because this is where we can actually get the first bad ending. I think there might be an inconsistency in Prosecutor Blackwell's testimony. Alright, let's give it a thorough check then. And I actually discovered that there is a third bad ending, which I will be covering. Okay, so present.
Objection!
Yeah, now this bad ending is actually one of the darkest in the series. Prosecutor Blackwell, your statement is inconsistent with this evidence. My badge.
And what's your opinion, Chief Prosecutor?
As always, I'm afraid the only thing that is logically inconsistent here is Mr. Wright himself.
In that case, as always, I will give Mr. Wright a penalty. That's enough. I see no need to further prolong this trial. The court's decision of 7 years ago stands. Prosecutor Simon Blackwell remains guilty of for the murder of Dr. Meta Sykes. Court is adjourned.
Prosecutor Blackwell was executed as scheduled the next day. As for Aura Blackwell, she and her robots took Trucy and the rest of the hostages and vanished without a trace. Athena left the office. Apollo stopped smiling. And I, realizing my uselessness as a lawyer, took off my badge for good. Yeah, basically that just goes really dark. Just, Simon's dead. Trucy is potentially dead. Athena quits out of shame. Apollo is just permanently edgy. And Phoenix just quits his badge. Just basically hangs up his badge and just probably goes back to his poker career. Though really, you'd think that Apollo would be at least slightly happy. Just, oh my gosh, I don't have to babysit Trucy anymore. I'm free. Yeah, but then again, if Apollo isn't babysitting Trucy, then he's literally just sitting there doing nothing. Anyways, for this one, basically. Go in here. Okay. And present the photo.
Objection!
Compounding lies with more lies is never the answer, Prosecutor Blackwell. Take a look at this photo.
That's the photo of the supposed moment of the murder, isn't it?
How many more times must I see that witch Down in CzarThwomp, you're ruining good moments. How many more times must I see that which damned me for my sin?
The ironic thing is, I think this picture is actually going to be your savior now. See the blood stain at the end of Ponko's arm where it was severed with the katana?
I hope you aren't claiming it's the robot's blood, Mr. Wright. How dare he cut my sweet baby girl, Ponko!
No, most likely the blood was transferred there from the blade katana.
The katana already had blood on it, so then it must have been the victim's blood.
That's right, but if that's the case, we found a glaring inconsistency.
Ugh.
You said in your testimony that you cut up Ponko and then you killed Dr. Sykes. But in spite of that, the victim's blood is already on Ponko's arm in this picture.
What? But that couldn't be.
Exactly. In order for the blood to have transferred from the wound from the sword to Ponko's arm, The victim must have been stabbed first, before the robot was slashed. In other words, Prosecutor Blackwell, your entire testimony is nothing but one giant ball of lies. Ah! Yeah, just front-facing Simon Blackwell. Front-facing Simon Blackwell can't hurt you. Tell the court the truth, Prosecutor Blackwell, now.
You have no idea what you're doing!
His voice. There's so much discord. I'm hearing not just one or two, but a bunch of rampaging emotions here. It's hard to describe. It's like a violent whirlpool or something.
Phoenix Wright! You will pay for this! Never have I been forced to reveal so much, but the rest I'll take to my grave!
Prosecutor Blackwell, you are on the witness stand. You are obligated to tell the truth. Isn't that the rule of the courtroom? All of these complex emotions, they seem to be flowing from one source. I think whatever he really saw that day is causing these feelings. Okay, anyways, for this one. Okay, probe. Got it. Pongo is causing the disturbance. When you opened the door and saw Athena, you became overwhelmed by your emotions. Isn't that right, prosecutor?
You should know better. And though it's pathetic, I admit I'm terrified to speak of it.
Prosecutor Blackwell, Miss Sykes is innocent. I will always believe that with all my heart. Now, can't you find it within yourself to believe in me too?
Athena is innocent, huh? Can you honestly say you believe that to be true, right, Dono?
I give you my word. Now tell me what you really saw when you opened that door.
Curse you, Phoenix Wright! It was a tragedy. One I'll never forget. The environment was pitch black. I was in a void of darkness as wind blew through the air. When I arrived at the lab, Dr. Sykes was already dead. She was lying on the operating table, while the bloody katana lay on the floor, and standing between the two, covered in blood, was Athena. She smiled with a far-off look in her eyes as she sweetly said,
"You're next!" Basically like, "Oh my gosh, no, Athena, what the hell? You're next, Simon. You saw too much. Something's wrong with Mama. I gotta repair her." Sorry about that. Ruin basically one of the high points of the game. Something's wrong with Mom, so I'm taking her apart to fix her.
That's what I saw, and now you have it. The truth that you so desperately wanted.
No. Prosecutor Blackwell finally tells the truth. And this is what it is? It's beyond devastating. I tried to take my mother apart? I'm the reason why this game's rated M for mature audiences?
Yes, Athena, you were demented. You look like something out of a horror film. If I wasn't so stunned, I would have been screaming and running for my life. I see that bloody face in my sleep, Athena. It haunts my nightmares.
You just walking up. Help me repair Mom, Mr. Blackwell. Help me, Simon. Help me repair her.
Just walking over with me with a wide open arms like you wanted a hug. I was terrified. I was praying. I was praying to anime.
So it was me. I'm the one who killed my mother. Athena, as I said, right, the truth isn't always pretty. Murder, disassembly on an operating table, a scientist using her daughter as a guinea pig. Sadly, it appears that my theory was correct after all. First-degree murder at its finest.
Objection!
It's true that Athena didn't like her mother's research, but you dare cast aspiration as her.
Cannot read my life today.
You dare cast aspersions on my mentor by claiming Athena was used in such a manner? Dr. Sykes could be awkward with people. Yes, she allowed for my sister to slap Athena on several occasions. She just stood by and just let it happen. But she loved her daughter with all her heart.
She loved me?
The air horn must not have love, Athena. Your mother hated to see you suffer because you could hear the voices of people's hearts. She wanted to set you free of your pain, so she worked tirelessly on her research. Do you remember those headphones you hated so much?
Yeah, my head hurt every time I wore them.
No, Athena. It's just the opposite. They emitted sound waves to notify emotional input from the voices of people around you. Your power was much stronger then than it is now. And those headphones were what enabled you to carry on with everyday life.
No, that can't be true. Then why? Why would I have done something like that to somebody who loved me so much?
Her love for you is real. That I can guarantee. That's why I knew. That what happened had to be some kind of mistake. I couldn't let you be punished for it. Lest you punish me. I thought, oh God, if she gets disciplinary action, I'm gonna fall asleep tonight, and then she's gonna appear above my bed. She's gonna be floating. Simon, Simon, stitches get stitches. Simon, Simon, and then you coming up with me with some katana, try to slice me up. I wasn't gonna put up with that, Athena. I went dealt with enough that day. Your mother's dead, but your mother's death. Just Ponko assembled. This is Ponko being in the corner. You coming at me.
So you took the blame yourself. You and your mentor are more alike than you know. You are weak, Simon.
Ponko was a witness, so I put her in the case. Held Athena close and vacated the lab. I threw Ponko away in the boarding lounge trash chute. And I hid the case on the Space Center grounds.
It would seem that we now have all the facts of this case.
Hold it!
No, not yet. It can't end like this.
Objection!
Do not disgrace yourself, Mr. Wright. The truth has been revealed. Or are you the type of man to turn your back to things that disagree with you? I'm not. But this... I can't give up now. I have to say something, anything, even if it's a bluff. I've always managed to pull through that way in the past. I have to make it work. The defense is prepared to present evidence. Mr. Wright? Yes, Athena? It's okay. You can stop now. I don't want you or anyone else to suffer any longer for my sake. Athena, what are you saying? I killed my mother. That's the truth. It's just like Prosecutor Edgeworth said. I'm a monster. We have to face it no matter how much it hurts. I admit my guilt. Okay, boys, prepare the electric chair. But could I please be granted just one chance to tell everyone what I recall? No, you're going straight to the chair. You're going straight to the gallows, Miss Sykes. I hope you enjoy your feet dangling. It appears Miss Sykes is much braver than you, Mr. Wright. What say you, Your Honor? In light of her courage, will the court give Miss Sykes the opportunity to confess?
Very well. Then if you would, please take the stand, Miss Sykes.
Thank you for letting me do this, Prosecutor Edgeworth. And thank you, Mr. Wright and Prosecutor Blackwell, for letting the truth be known. Now we can finally move forward, and everyone's suffering can come to an end. Athena. Prosecutor Blackwell will be cleared, and the dark age of the law can come to an end. Yes, admit your guilt, and bring everything to its conclusion. I killed my mother. My memory's still a little hazy, but there's no question I remember it. Seriously! Edgeworth in this case just makes Manfred look like this benevolent guy. Because the thing is this, yeah, Manfred tried to frame Edgeworth for the murder of his father. But basically, the thing is, Manfred was more or less just keeping things to just a standard level of professionalism. Manfred wasn't basically forming a lynch mob against someone who did it when they were 11 years old. Basically, Manfred's like, okay, it happened, basically. And heck, Manfred wasn't even trying to push Edgeworth's Kickstarter DL6. Edgeworth was taking the stand, and just Manfred was going along with the ride. Basically, Manfred was just going along with just, hey, here's what's out. Basically, just here's my plan to frame Edgeworth for the crime of Hammond's murder. Basically, though in regards to DL6, Manfred never tried to frame Edgeworth, and Manfred never really tried to imply that Edgeworth did it. Basically, Manfred just kept it as a neutral thing. Meanwhile, Edgeworth, he's like, this 11-year-old girl committed first-degree murder when she felt like her health was endangered and she was being abused on a regular basis by her mother. She was sheltered. She didn't know any better doing the difference between human and robot. So she killed with malicious intent. Yeah, but really, just Edgeworth. Just Edgeworth just going absolutely ham on just what Athena did when she was a kid. And the thing is, just Athena just saw him and just saw Edgeworth. We're putting an end to this. Put an end to it all! My memory's still a little hazy, but there's no question I remember. Yes. Your memory's hazy, you monster. I remember the weight of the weapon in my hands, and the feeling of it stabbing in deep. And I remember the warmth of her blood as it flowed down the handle onto my fingers. Your Honor, please find me guilty. I dare say, these are all memories that no one but the murderer would have. She remembers her misdeeds, sent her to the gallows. No! Firing squad!
I see. Thank you for your confession. I believe the trial has gone on for long enough. But before we can conclude, does anyone have a counter argument?
Objection!
I do, Your Honor.
Mr. Wright!
But Mr. Wright! Why? I killed her. I remember it now. Any counter arguments now is pointless.
Objection!
Don't tell me you've forgotten one of the basic tenets of lawyering. Always believe in the client to the bitter end. Athena, you are not a murderer.
Objection!
First-degree murderer, right? She's not just any murderer. She was deliberately planning this with full intent of absolute destruction of her mother. I said that you never changed, but could you have actually regressed in these 8 years? You were once wonderful, right? You were cynical and you were hard. You were cold and you were calculating. Here you were just 1 year ago. You were basically masterminding legal schemes. I was proud of you for once. I was proud that you were using logic and planning. And yet here we are, 1 year later, and it's back to 2016. I won't stand for your childish emotionalism getting in the way of the truth. Emotionalism? Don't lecture me on matters of the heart, Edgeworth. Because I can see straight into a person's soul. I swear, it's like the second you take the chief prosecutor position in the Ace Attorney universe, you lose all sense of warmth and empathy. Basically, just seriously, Edgeworth is making Lana, who was known as this Ice Queen, look like basically a decent person back when she was being manipulated by Gant.
I did a little research. I looked into those special psych logs you mentioned, Mr. Nick. Athena doesn't try to keep anything from you on purpose. For some reason, apart from her heart and her memories are sealed off, even from herself.
There's still a chance, somewhere deep in Athena's heart. There still might be memories of that even she knows about yet. It might be like looking for a grain of sand somewhere in the cosmos, but still, that memory might contain a new fact that could prove her innocence. You know, I could just imagine just somewhere, Ray Shields, he's just cringing on the inside, basically. Yeah, just after this trial, just Ray. Hello, Miles. Mr. Shields! Just Ray's in Edgeworth's office in his chair. Glad you came back. Now allow for me to remind you of your roots. Yeah, just Ray coming out with the crowbar. Yeah, no. Better yet, Ray has a picture of Gregory Edgeworth, and then Ray, look upon your father, and may he judge your sins.
Now then, is there or is there not a problem with Miss Lake's confession?
My memory's still a little hazy, but there's no question I remember it. I remember the weight of the weapon in my hands, and the feeling of it stabbing in deep. And I remember the warmth of her blood as it flowed down the handle onto my fingers. There's definitely something wrong with her memory of the event. I can just tell.
If there's a problem with her confession, please prove it to the court now.
Take that!
Isn't that the katana the defendant used to kill the victim, Mr. Wright?
I respectfully and vehemently disagree, Your Honor. But I remember it. I remember holding the weapon and getting my blood on my fingers. That's exactly my point. If blood really did get on your fingers while you were holding it, there should be blood on the handle. But please focus on the handle of this sword. There's not a single trace of blood on it. And therefore, this is clearly a contradiction of the facts. You're right.
Oh my!
Objection!
The defendant must have simply confused a portion of her memories. She mentioned it was hazy to begin with, and we can't mull over every minor detail. Seriously, it's like Edgeworth sat in Blaze's old office, and just Blaze's evil was so concentrated that it started to seep into Edgeworth. Yeah, just Edgeworth, he's hearing Blaze's voice in his head.
Yes! Take advantage of the vague memories, Edgeworth. Let it fuel you. Now offer her a bum plea bargain. Trick her. Take her hopes and then destroy them.
Objection!
But she also said there's no question I remember it, a fact we can't ignore. In that case, why don't you explain what this contradiction with her memories mean? Gladly, just give me a sec to think of something. I want to say that Athena didn't stab anyone, but she said it herself that she remembers the feeling of committing the act. Think, Phoenix, think. What could the contradiction with Athena's memories mean? The blood was wiped off the weapon. The blood was wiped off the handle. Humph. Uh-oh, I got the humph treatment. I shouldn't have to explain the implications of your own argument with you, right? But all your claim suggests is that Miss Sykes wiped the blood off herself after the fact. I knew that. I know that bluffing your way through things is your calling card. But your credibility phoned just now and told me to tell you to put a sock in it. Yes, Daddy. Yes, and Phoenix, you wonder what? Yeah, basically just. Just that does not help you, Phoenix. Yeah, just Phoenix. Yeah, Daddy. Help me, Daddy Edgeworth. Seriously, just do a yes, Daddy. Yeah, basically what I was trying to say is, just no wonder people think to ship Phoenix with Edgeworth. Where basically when Phoenix is saying something like that. Miss Sykes said blood flowed down the handle, but the katana's handle is spotless. So doesn't it follow that the defendant must have used a weapon other than the katana? What are you up to this time? This is it. This time I found just the thing to end Athena's nightmare for good. The weapon that took Dr. Sykes' life was the katana. That much is for sure. So if I can show a possibility that Athena didn't use the katana, it could help me prove her innocent.
A different weapon, you say? What weapon could that be exactly?
Right. Of course he would ask that. I can see you're floundering, Mr. Wright. Did you speak without thinking again, as always? How does he do that? If I can't back down now, not here, not now. That's right, I did. Because it's so obvious it doesn't require any thought. What did you say? Okay, so maybe that was an exaggeration, but there has to be something. Was there some other bladed weapon in the robotics lab that day? Maybe there was something in one of the crime scene photos. Wait a minute. There is something. There's a high probability that was in the lab. I don't have that particular weapon here in evidence right now, but I do have a piece of evidence just like it. Yeah, I'm trying to just knock down the meter because basically we're nearing the statement. Okay. Yeah, you're going to want to present the utility knife, but we're presenting the badge.
How does that evidence suggest that there was another bladed weapon at the scene?
Well, when you put it that way, I'm not sure.
Then let me give you a little jolt to help you be sure next time.
That wasn't so bad. Anyways, the crime scene was a robotics lab. They must have had some blades of some kind, and I have something just like in evidence.
Take that!
But that's the murder weapon in the Clay Duran case.
The murderer was a time traveler. Yes, this is the knife that took Mr. Tran's life, but there must have been a knife just like this at the scene 7 years ago as well. Toolkits containing utility knives like this one are issued to Space Center employees, and a robotics lab especially would naturally have one of these around.
Objection!
But besides the katana, no other bladed weapon was found at the site. It was in the investigation report if you didn't know.
Objection!
Of course I knew that. Once you told me just now. Then there's something else you already knew. There was a toolkit at the scene, but it didn't contain any blades. Here's a photo of its contents. Hey, a screwdriver could be used.
You're right, I don't see any kind of bladed tool.
Fine. But isn't there something odd about the design of these handles? Therefore, there was no other bladed weapon in the room.
Objection!
I disagree. This toolkit contained a knife. And what proof do you have of that? Well, until then, the next episode, because I think now would be a good time to end things off. Anyways, I really appreciate that you stuck around to watch this episode. You're a great viewer, and I hope you come back for the next one. If you like this video, like, subscribe, comment, share, do whatever you want. With that, I'll see you next time. Bye.